And we back.
And we back.
And we back.
And we back. Welcome
to the Homework with Friends podcast.
We back at it, episode number 6.
It's been a while.
It's been a little bit of a while. I know if you're listening, you're probably not understanding the production schedule for these episodes, but we're typically about a week in advance on them, if not more, sometimes.
Yeah, but not this time.
Not this week. This is fresh.
Yeah.
We can talk about some topical stuff today, and it's going to hit your ears tomorrow, which is Wednesday, or today, I should say, in podcast time. Yeah. So, let's take advantage of it. Let's talk about the hot topics of today.
What are the hot topics of today?
Well, real quick, as I always do, got to intro the podcast a little bit. Welcome to Homework with Friends. This is the podcast for two friends. I'm Logan.
I'm Dalton.
And we assign each other fun homework assignments every week. It's kind of a high school podcast.
Yeah, it's grade school podcast.
Grade school podcast.
It dives into college a little bit.
It's grade school as far as the level of education you're getting.
Oh, yeah, you're not learning that much.
Yeah, don't come away from this thinking you're doing anything educational. There's a reason we're under the comedy section of iTunes, loosely comedy. You can just say you're comedy and people believe it, I guess.
Anything could be comedy to somebody, I guess.
Yeah, if you're chuckling out there. But guess what? Great comedy comes with great tears as well.
Boy, yeah, it's feeling weird to take such a hiatus. What did we have? We took like 6 days off?
No.
More than that?
Well, I mean, we should have recorded last week, but we haven't recorded since last Friday.
Damn.
So that in time comes out to... Wow. How's math going?
This is why we haven't done a math assignment yet.
This is 11 days?
But yeah, we had some excuses.
Oh, no.
Why. What?
Popo.
Uh-oh.
That's definitely getting picked up.
Oh, you guys are gonna hear that.
Yeah, don't worry about us. We're hidden far underground.
It's okay. We'll be all right.
But
you went out of town.
I went out of town. I went home for Memorial Day weekend. It was fun.
Oh, first, we need to take a time out.
Okay.
We're scattered all over the place right now.
I came in hot.
I'm
juiced up right now.
I have to start out by giving a shout out. Some good, wonderful people heard my complaints from the last podcast.
Yes, which were
that everybody was sending the wine money to Logan, and I was getting nothing.
And by everyone, I mean super fans Robbie and Kaylee.
Yeah. Other super fans, Steve Caro and Claire Manoli, decided to take it upon themselves to hit your boy up with some money.
That's exciting. I'm still coasting off my money from the previous week. Got myself some Sutter Home.
It's very exciting. However, Steve's came with stipulations. The money he sent me could only be used for a Four Loko. So I'm off the wine tonight, guys. If things get a little wacky, it's because I'm doing Four Loko Gold tonight.
Ooh, Four Loko.
My first Four Loko in 4 years.
4 years since a Four Loko.
It's kind of cathartic.
Four Loko was an interesting thing that really hit college hard in a big way in 2010.
It was like such a big part of our freshman year.
I think my go-to going out beverage, because and sorry mom, but yeah, I drank underage. You know that. She's an avid listener, by the way. Anyway, I remember a go-to order for the upperclassmen who would buy us booze.
Yeah.
Would be, since I didn't really want to deal with too much money, and B, like a complicated order, I'd just say, pick me up 2 Four Lokos.
Yeah, that'd last you the weekend.
Could last you the weekend.
That was the old Four Lokos.
In the old Four Lokos, which you had the caffeine.
Yeah, that messed you up. Because in those days, I guess you had to drink your Four Loko, then you'd go get free beers from people at parties.
Yeah, try to go somewhere and get a couple Bud Lights.
5 hours
for much hassle. So you really wanted to get good and toasty before you got out there.
At the ripe age of 18, I weighed about 155 pounds.
So you took 2 sips of Four Loko and were blacked out. But I remember it was it was dangerous for people to be that into Four Lokos. It was a pretty high octane drink.
Dangerous stuff on those Four Lokos.
I mean, it's as far as just people getting way too drunk off of them.
Yeah.
I remember
we're really getting topical here with the current events of today.
The current of 2010's Four Loko epidemic. All right. Anyway, if you're part of our core listener base, you get the Four Loko stuff. We don't need to dive too. But Dalton, I'm very excited to see you drink that Four Loko.
I saved the first sip for right now.
What flavor do you have?
The Four Loko Gold.
Which
never had it.
Is a little special because
that's a little higher percentage.
Here it is for a sip.
So
I want to hear, what are the notes?
It tastes
What are you tasting right now?
like somebody crunched up a bunch of sweet tarts and then put some Starburst and Skittles in with it and then melted it with battery acid and put it into a can.
Oh boy, do you mind? Can I
Take a sip?
take a sip now? What would you make it? What's it akin to? What is the flavor profile?
I don't. Kind of peachy.
Okay.
Is
Is it supposed to be just like energy drink flavored? It kind of smells like that.
Kind of just energy drink
Like a
flavor.
Rockstar.
The only fruity flavor I got was a little bit of peach, I think.
Ugh. Okay, here we are. What if I like it?
You probably will.
I'm about to go. Get it going. All right, here we are.
It hurts my whole body.
Ooh.
So yeah, Steve, that's for you. Thank you.
Upon first taste, it does taste kind of like a Red Bull or like a Rockstar, and then the rest of it's just awful.
It's the only drink that besides like maybe like a really hot cup of coffee, that I can feel go all the way down into my stomach.
That's 24 ounces of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough
Gut rot.
podcast, guys.
All right, we're having fun though. But on to topical issues. Roseanne got canceled.
Roseanne got canceled. Didn't really watch it originally.
Didn't watch it really at all.
No. Didn't watch a single episode of the reboot.
No.
So I guess covered that one.
Yeah, Roseanne down.
You did it. You know what you did.
You know what you did, Roseanne.
You know what you did. Way to get everybody fired.
And you heard your news here first from the Homework with Friends podcast. I don't know what other current events are going on right now.
So many all the time. I can't keep up with anything.
I mean, there's several, but I don't know if they fit within the tone of the podcast too much.
No. Skip. Let's say
you know what?
That was your topical.
Roseanne's
news.
canceled.
Roseanne's canceled. Boom.
Boom.
On to the next one.
The boys are topical.
How was you took a trip home?
I took a trip home. It's been the first time home in a little while. It was nice to see everybody.
Yeah.
It was Memorial Day, which the past 3 Memorial Days, I believe, have been in a good way, but totally consumed by other people's weddings. Oh, sorry. Dalton just took a sip, and I don't know if you heard the last few sentences I said.
You had a wedding every Memorial Day?
So ever since I graduated, I've had a wedding every single Memorial Day, 3 years in a row.
I may have 2. I just don't remember.
Yeah, it's fine, but it's a nice 3-day weekend that I've taken for granted before.
Yeah.
And I even took a little bit of extra time off work, which was nice.
Yeah, you did.
So I feel not rested. I don't want to go back to work tomorrow at all. But it was nice to be home.
Traveling, it always kind of makes, like, even if it's like a little vacation, I mean, just even the 5-hour drive back home.
It was
for you,
5 hours, and
that takes it out of you.
luckily I was like straight little kidding it up in the back seat with like
playing video
I
games.
had like giant headphones on, a Nintendo Switch, and then like an iPad on my lap that I had connected to my phone's hotspot so I could like watch some stuff if I wanted to. All I was missing was like a lollipop.
Yeah.
Which I got at the gas station.
Did you get a lollipop?
No, I didn't get.
Did you get treats at the gas station?
I did. I kind of pig out on road trip treats.
I think
sometimes.
it's acceptable too.
There's a Speedway that we typically stop by going home, and I got a 32-ounce Speedy Freeze,
Okay.
half Mountain Dew, half cherry, little makeshift Code Red. Then I also got a corn dog, a little barbecue sauce on that corn dog, and a big old slice of pepperoni pizza. And I had a tummy ache. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good after that.
That's tough, man.
All the during was good. But it was good to be home. It was nice to be back in not the city as much as that. We haven't been living here too long.
Yeah.
But the landscape gets kind of repetitive when you live anywhere. So it was nice to go back to just like a burb and
just about
hang out.
Everywhere looks the same.
Oh, we went ham. This is back to relating to some high school related topics. But my nephew graduated high school, so I got to see
one of the reasons you went back.
One of the main reasons I went. Well, I was off, but also nephew Cole, good for you, man. But it was kind of interesting to see a high school graduation again. I hadn't thought about it in a while.
I saw my stepsisters, but that was still. I think that was in 2014.
Oh, yeah.
So it's been a while.
It didn't feel that much different. It was in the same place that I graduated with. He's from a similar suburb that I graduated from, where we just had these massive high school class sizes, of which based on what I've told other people, is a lot bigger than what they experienced. But he had like maybe 600 people in his graduating class. I had a little bit over that. It was long.
Yeah.
It was 45 minutes. hearing them just name the names.
Even small ones are exhausting.
And then the principal went up there, and he seemed like a good guy. He was kind of like maybe mid-30s. He was kind of relating to the kids a little bit more.
Mid-30s and a principal.
That's like that's a respect kind of principal.
You worked your way up.
People liked him. I mean, I like my principal, but she's a little bit older. But not so I couldn't relate to her. But he had this framing device for his seemingly 5-hour-long speech. Their high school mascot's the Firebirds. So he kept going. Hashtag, we are Firebirds. And then he would go into like a little thing about his speech. And then it would break up one section. And then he would go, hashtag, we are Firebirds. And like the first couple times people were pumped up because it was like all the cool, he was like naming people who were doing ROTC. He was naming like valedictorians, like all the really impressive people of the class. Yeah. And then by like the third or fourth time he did it, there was an audible groan in the entire auditorium where he was like, hashtag, we are Firebirds. And you just see all these 17, 18-year-olds going like, man, we gave you 2. You gotta stop saying. You gotta stop.
You're cut off.
How many literally saying hashtag.
How many more did he do? Just 3?
He like. Well, I think he did maybe 4 total. Okay. Maybe. I mean, if you're out there, principal, and you want to dispute this, you can come on podcast and tell me all you want. But I think he did one last one. But it tied up the speech to where like I'm probably kind of a dickhead for even like making fun of him for doing it. But it was great, and they ended the speech really nicely. There was like a kid who like almost didn't graduate because of a disability. He got injured. He was a wrestler, but he had a stroke, and it was really touching. It was great. Yeah. It was amazing. So I don't want to mock that too much because that was pretty powerful at the end. But it was funny, kind of hearing like the students kind of trying to pick up on his like lingo out of it. But he pulled himself out. He did a good job.
Hey, that's good.
It was good.
You touched on you went themed for the weekend. But
then also me and one of my brothers said as we were leaving, like, wish one person gave a speech at, because they had all the 18-year-olds giving the speeches. Yeah. Like they didn't have like a keynote or anything like that. We just thought it'd be funny if there was like a jaded 20-something going up there going like, yeah, this is your day.
This
Enjoy
is it. Best years of your life.
Soak up the next
thrown out the door.
4 to 5 years, building up as much debt as possible, then dig your way out.
It would be nice to see one day.
Yeah. How's your weekend? What did you do, man?
I had a pretty classic Memorial Day weekend. Classic mid-20s Memorial Day
weekend.
I
want to hear all about it because it's going to be real hashtag relatable.
Oh, yeah. No, just drank so much. Just really did some damage to my body. So we had some friends in town. Friends of both of us, but Logan left.
I did.
And they were staying with some of our peeps here in Chicago. So I didn't have to do too much hosting, which was nice. But we went to the beach on Saturday. And just spent like 4+ hours at the beach and just drank the whole time. And I don't think anybody went there with the intention to get super drunk, but it happened. It's what we did. And I came back to some hardcore napping and then just stayed in for the night. But then Sunday we had a nice cookout. It was really good food. We had a very good time, but we just, once again...
Got way too drunk,
and my Memorial Day was spent hungover.
Friends coming into town are the best distraction to help break up any sort of routine.
Yeah.
But also are just such wrecking balls.
They are.
If they want to be.
Nothing done. Absolutely nothing done. Barely squeaked this homework assignment.
Oh, yeah. Basically, we should have recorded before I even left.
Oh, absolutely.
And I had 4 days. Basically, all I had done was I watched a brief documentary about my topic, and then I did the rest this morning.
Well, I guess in total, the homework assignment took me like an hour to do what I was actually working, but I was so hungover that I spent like 8 hours doing just like working for 5 minutes and then strolling away and then coming back and working for 5 minutes.
I just went straight up high school with my homework assignment in terms of like delaying it to the very last minute. Like I was kind of interested in it. Yeah. But also I was like, I'm going to have to like write stuff out. And if I'm going to make this interesting, I'm going to have to actually like structure it a little bit, and I was just like, oh, this one and Holes, the very first one we did, felt the most like high school homework to me.
Yeah,
like
I could see
they
are the most like high schooly type assignment.
Yeah, which was the point. You did a good job.
And I did the same thing. I finished mine. Well, I was thinking we were going to record yesterday. We pushed it back again.
Pushed it back.
I finished mine about 15 minutes before you walked in the door.
Oh, yesterday evening?
Yeah, expecting to record like right away.
Yeah, congratulations. So you know what we've been talking about this homework. We might as well just dive into it.
Let's dive into it.
Let's dive into homework. We've been hanging out for about the past 24 hours straight, so we don't have too much more catching up to do.
I have a ton for you.
We don't have a lot, guys. We're gonna make this a concise one for you. We've heard your feedback. The beginning's long. We get it. Yeah. We're moving on.
All right.
So my homework for this week was to learn about the 12 core Greek gods, also known as the Olympians.
Yeah.
And basically, that was kind of as much structure as I had for it. So I can dive into that.
Yeah, go for it. You go first.
I'm going. Woo.
I guess you're the head of the class, so you decide.
I am the head of the class. What do I want to do? Jesus. You know what? I want to exercise my power. I want to hear yours first.
Okay.
I'm telling you, man.
That's fine.
I want to hear your homework first.
A big critique of the show. 0 consequences either.
Yeah, that's true.
No one could do anything to me. I'm untouchable.
Yeah, you're kind of untouchable. He was the dunce last week, and you know what? How much he thought about that since he heard that?
0 times.
So yeah, give us an overview of your homework, and then we'll dive into it.
So I had to. You assigned me to make a 5 to 10 minute radio drama. Mm-hmm. Hit it right on the nose. Didn't even realize I did at 5:03.
Yeah, and the reasoning would be to get you a little bit more familiar with editing software.
Yeah.
Using the mics.
Really, first time doing it.
Yeah.
Since like 8th grade Mac class.
I'm excited to hear about it. Before we dive into it, let's hear a little bit about the process. What was
Well,
we did a little study sesh together.
Did we?
Well, I didn't do a study sesh, but I helped get you set up.
Yeah. So we did that. You ran me down with the basics, which I didn't even realize that I still knew from that time.
It did. It did kind of feel like I was trying to be a very relatable teacher, and you were like a straight up teenager going like, I get it.
That was probably what all my teachers felt like always.
I sympathized with them greatly because you're kind of like, yeah. And I remember there was one time where I was like, all right, now you show me what to do, and you didn't remember it. And you're like, I got it. I was like, okay, show me how you get to the mic. And you're like, clicked on a couple wrong things at first. And I was like, try this one. You're like, oh, yeah, I know that.
Duh, don't fucking... I was getting there.
It's because you're looking.
I was exploring some other stuff, all right? So, yeah, it wasn't really... It was pretty easy. Mm-hmm. The hardest part was actually coming up with an actual radio drama to do.
Okay.
They're not that interesting.
Yeah.
Pretty dead form of content. Because, I don't even have, a podcast I know that's, like a drama where there's, actors and actresses, actually doing voices.
They do it a lot on This American Life and stuff like that.
I don't listen to it.
Well, sometimes because they'll always have, this is a story in 3 acts, and then they'll try to connect one together, and sometimes it's just, a fiction author, or, somebody like BJ Novak will just, write a script for something and perform it with someone. So that's kind of what I was going for. It was also one of my first projects I had to do in my audio for the media class in college, where we had to collaborate with some other people, write something and put it together. So it isn't a bad project for learning how to do multiple tracks and mixing stuff together.
I think having other people around, I could have tried to get more other people around, but I just tried to do it myself.
The world was your oyster there.
It was. I also could have written a script, but I improv'd it.
I am getting more and more excited to hear this.
So, yeah, I could have made it easier on myself. I didn't. I was just I don't even know what to write for this, and I didn't. I just spent the whole weekend drunk, so I didn't want to try and find other people to do voice acting for me.
Yeah.
So, all in all, I think I did a good job. It's not a great story.
Tell me about the ups and downs of recording. Was anything frustrating or anything come naturally?
It all came pretty naturally, actually. Like, it really wasn't that hard. It just wasn't.
No technical difficulties? No, like, annoying things happened at all?
No, surprisingly, like, making my own sound effects went pretty easy. I had a pretty solid time with that.
Oh, you are a blessed man. Jesus.
Yeah,
I thought we might have a little bit more drama around this radio drama.
There wasn't.
Huh?
There wasn't. It went pretty quick.
How about that?
You guys there's no drama around it. The points off are gonna come with the voice acting and the story. But yeah, you know, dive into it, baby.
All right, let's dive into it. We'll do. I guess we'll do like a little critique afterwards, talk about it, and then we'll dive into my homework.
You know,
that's how the podcast goes. I don't know why I went down that tear, but we'll pull.
Yeah, it's just life's hard when everything comes naturally to you. You know.
Points off already. All right, here we go. Oh, started a little bit earlier. All right. God. All right, Dalton.
I told you it goes right into it, man.
Do you want to cue it up at all, or?
I think it's best not to.
It's best not to cue it up. So we're gonna listen to this. Hopefully the audio works nicely through the speakers. If not, we'll have to cut in some stuff later. So here we go. This is Dalton's radio drama.
Tony, did you hear that? I heard a loud bang come from the kitchen. Tony, wake up. I heard.
What are you talking about, Lord?
Tony, I'm telling you, I heard a noise in the kitchen,
Calm down.
Tony.
There was no noise in the...
Just go check it out.
Dolores, there's no noise in the goddamn kitchen.
I'm telling you right now, hand to Jesus, that I heard a noise in the kitchen, Tony. Now you need to go check it out.
There ain't no way in hell I'm getting out of bed for some noise in the kitchen, Dolores. Now take your ass back to sleep. I'm tired of this.
Some kind of man you are. Oh my God, I know you had to have heard that one, Tony. I know you heard it. Go check. Somebody's in the house. Somebody is in the house.
All right, let's pump the brakes here for a minute. You're telling me, Dalton, that you had probably like 6 days to do this homework assignment, to make this great radio drama that you could put a lot of effort into, and this is what you're coming up with. This is what you got for us. I don't get why it's turning out this way. It's not starting out great. You're right. I apologize. I discovered I kept trying to make good radio dramas, and it turns out that they just suck. People had a pretty terrible form of entertainment for a while. They're not that cool to do. There's not really any like good way to do it. Like if you can't, like it's always gonna turn out boring. I don't have a bunch of voice actors to help me out. I don't do a good female Southern accent. And clearly that was the only option for this, was to do that. So, I mean, what is a boy to do? You're making some valid points, but let me just ask you this. Are you happy with the way that things are shaping up right now? Do you think that this is presentable to give to the audiences? Well, I mean, I think there's only one audience. I don't know why you're making it plural. It's a little weird, but no, I don't think it's presentable. They're not going to enjoy this. This isn't a fun thing for them to listen to this nonsense. So, like, what would be what's the best route to go? Could you have any suggestions? I've got a couple of ideas. Yeah, one that's a little bit crazy. If you just play along with me, it might work out. Well, let's see what you got for me. Let's go ahead and try and salvage this homework assignment, my man. The year's 1923. Our hero, Dalton Lee, is strolling down the street when he sees the most beautiful face he's ever laid eyes on. What's up, man? What's going on? You didn't like it? I thought that was a pretty solid start. We could have riffed on that for a little bit if you put a little effort in. Man, that was honestly, that was just the worst way to go with it. I think I'm 1 foot out the door on it. I think we got what we needed. It's time to just maybe call it a wrap. Let's just walk away from this while we still have a little bit of dignity. I guess if you want to call it quits, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't stick around and make this on my own. Let's walk away, I guess. Be a big baby. All right, man. You know what? Don't call me a fucking baby. You're not as handsome and charming as you think, you piece of shit. I'm out of here. Just get over yourself. Oh, okay. Real mature. Get personal with it, you sociopath. Just go ahead and keep on walking. Walk out the door. I apologize to all the listeners out there. We tried our best, I guess, to make the radio drama. My partner was a bit of a dick. I guess that's a wrap on it. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up shop, and maybe we'll get there someday, guys.
Come on, man. And with the local DBC news, LL Cool J with the 12th comeback. Or a solo. But tonight, don't call it a comeback.
That's the end of it.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing, man.
All right. Quick round of applause.
Thank you.
All right. That was, you know what? You're pretty self-deprecating going into it, but initial reactions, I got a kick out of it.
Yeah. Now that I didn't want to give too much away. Now afterwards, I went a different route.
You went meta.
I thought, one, it was funnier.
And two, I mean, I don't know what the other one was.
I was actually able to get more working parts in doing it that way, more practice,
you were
making it sound like they were talking from different sides of the room, like you showed me, and then adding in some sound effects while they're talking, them talking over each other.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of criteria for the radio drama itself, which I think maybe lent itself to some creativity. Mm-hmm. But what I'll say was I was very impressed with the cold open with the Southern couple, which I enjoyed. Dawn, I don't know if you hear the fridge going right now, but Dawn's going back in for another glug of that Four Loko.
Oh, baby.
But, back to the assignment. I really liked the opening. I liked the kind of cut, going into you talking to yourself. That was pretty introspective. That was interesting to listen to. It seemed fairly in line with your worldview. And was I will say, a charming self-deprecation, which can sometimes be tough to pull off. No one always likes a guy who's you're always down on yourself. But that was you basically.
That's what happens in my head, guys.
Shit talking yourself, which was good.
That's how I live every day.
And then I like too, and I didn't put this as part of the criteria, but if this was a formal assignment in a class, it probably would have stuff we need to see multiple acts within the radio drama. We need to see different things happening. We need to hear action. So you had the doors in there. I would say you had a good, as far as, what am I trying to say here? Good world building. You know what I mean? Okay. And good commentary on what you were doing, which was good to hear. The whole radio drama's being boring. I got a kick out of it.
Yeah, though, you know what? I had some sound effects in there that I was never able to get them right. I had one thing. Tough. I was having blankets ruffling.
Oh.
I tried. That was the one hard part, I guess.
Yeah.
Of anything, was trying to get that. I just couldn't get it.
Yeah, so I would say at the very base level, what you did was very solid. It was good cutting. I think you excelled, and the listeners at home will agree. The dialogue in between people talking was solid. There was that moment where the guy was doing the radio voice, everybody get ready, and then you were talking underneath him, and then you got louder and louder, and then eventually cut him off. It sounded great. That was awesome. It sounded like actually two people talking to each other. And leading up into that, some of the toughest parts when you are maybe doing a voiceover for an animation or trying to do voiceover in general is making those breaks in between dialogue sound natural and actually sound like people talking to each other, which is really hard when it's just you.
Yeah.
So that was solid.
I found that I got pretty good. I didn't really have to cut a lot. I got pretty good at just timing out, thinking in my head, doing exactly that in my head, talking that part while I'm speaking the part. So it was kind of easy for me to just blend things together.
Tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't really have to cut a whole lot or do too much.
The only thing I noticed, and I don't want to get too far into grades, but just talking about the audio in general, there was some like popping in between lines of dialogue, meaning that there might have been like a little bit of a gap before you spoke again, which is like when the audio cuts back in abruptly when there's no audio around that, which only happens when stuff isn't blended all the way.
I gotcha.
Which isn't bad, but it's just one of those things. It's like an easy fix where you just kind of fade it in before something else happens, or you put some background noise in. So maybe some ambient noise would have helped all of it out.
Did you hear the siren?
Yeah,
That's why I laughed harder when there's a siren at the beginning of this one. 'Cause
Hey, we
I was
live in
like,
Chicago, baby.
It happened to me.
It's the mean streets. We're going to
And
hear some sirens.
It happened to me. I could have easily re-recorded the part. I just didn't want to.
I thought it was fine. It sounded good. I kind of knew what was happening for the most part. But overall, man, I was really good. I was impressed. I thought it was fun.
Thank you.
What did you like the most and what did you hate the most about just the actual recording and kind of the riffing with yourself?
I liked just goofing around and doing the voice by myself. It was fun to just improv the little story. There's nothing that really bugged me too much. Some of just the tweaking things so much just gets a little tedious, but it was only 5 minutes. It wasn't like that.
I can't tell too much, but as you said earlier, it's a bigger endeavor than you think it is to get 5 minutes of like scripted recording down.
Yeah. It's annoying.
Especially when you're cutting all of it together. Did you do any of, I can't tell right now because I don't have headphones in, but maybe the listeners at home will know before I even ask this question. But did you fade from left to right at all on it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So it'll sound a lot more in headphones, like I'm
People talking to each other?
like talking from different sides of the room.
That's cool, man. It was good. That's some next level production stuff.
I didn't do it with the southern couple because they're supposed to be laying in bed right next to each other.
So it wouldn't have worked as well as like I like, and the voices were different enough too. I think when you're talking to yourself, it's good to have a little bit more audio.
Yeah, hopefully the
manipulation.
listeners at home will pick up on that a little bit.
Yeah, overall, I'd hope they're impressed, and I'm thoroughly impressed.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
And you said at the beginning, radio dramas are boring. You know what? I don't think so.
Well,
I think our listeners are going to have a kick listening to that.
That's one man's opinion.
Getting some stomps from upstairs.
Yeah, we got some stompy boys.
But yeah, if we did that every single week, maybe it'd get a little bit tired. But I dug it.
Hey,
I
thanks,
liked
man.
it. I thought it was fun. Cheers.
I gotta say to the listeners who are still with us, this Four Locos not going down well. This has been painful.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dalton's Four Loco update. Dalton, give us the update out there in the world.
Every sip is misery. I'm not even halfway through the can. I don't have a lot for you guys. That's it.
You heard it here first. This is Dalton's Four Loco update, brought to you by Four Loco Gold. 14% alcohol, 100% regret.
That was good. You should be a sponsor for them.
Thank you. Also brought to you by Steve Vaccaro, this week's number one fan.
Oh, are we gonna start doing that? Number one fan of the week.
Well, I will say one thing. My number one fans did not send me any Venmo money from last week.
How long do you think they could sustain paying for your wine each?
I think one is more than generous. I am really not getting greedy. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Oh boy.
If I ever become jobless at some point, maybe it'll become a little bit more critical.
Actually begging on the podcast.
Like, actually, for real, you guys, I need $4 for this. Papa needs his medicine. All right, should I dive into my homework?
Yeah, get on with the homework.
All right. That's the name of the podcast, ain't it?
Yeah, get on with it.
All right, so it's time for Logan's homework. So my homework this week was to learn about the Greek gods and goddesses. I want to be inclusive here. Mm-hmm. And so I took it, I think your directions, if I'm reading you back correctly. What are you laughing about?
I want to be inclusive. Yeah. Like they're not already part of the original 12. Like you're really going out of your way to be inclusive.
Sorry, man. It's 2018. I want to catch up with the times. So my job was to, I guess, give you a report on the 12 Greek gods and goddesses, and I took that as giving some context around them.
I just wanted anything about it.
And to frame it a little bit, what I was the most interested when you mentioned it was like, we've heard these names before. We know about Zeus. We've heard of Aphrodite.
Yeah.
We know about all this junk, but we don't know a ton about the origins of it by and large. We kind of know how they're depicted in stories like the Odyssey and things like that, and the different things that people will encounter. if you're a video game junkie like this guy over here, you know about God of War.
God of War.
God of War and all the things that Kratos has to do. But for me, I kind of wanted to learn about the practical side of it, maybe why they were invented, and a little bit of the origins of the gods themselves.
Yeah, hit me with it.
All right.
I'm listening.
You got a captive audience.
You keep looking at me. I don't know what you want from me.
I don't know if you want. So I want to dive into the Greek gods and a little bit of their origins right now, and we really have to start at the beginning. Psych. We're cutting to the fall of the Titans. So before the Greek gods, the Olympians, there were the Titans.
Yeah, Thanos.
Thanos, the Mad Titan, who collected all the Infinity Stones to, as we all know, destroy half of the Avengers.
Yeah, well, not just half the Avengers, half of the universe.
Of the planet. In the universe.
And that's why we're still alive today, guys. So thank Thanos before you go to bed tonight.
Yep. Thanks, Thanos. And that ends the podcast. So there was the Titans, who were kind of the overarching deities at the time. And what they had was the 10-year-long War of the Gods, also known as the Titanomachy. Titanomachy, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not going to spell it. So of the Titans, there was two main Titans. There was Gaia, the Earth Mother, and there was Uranus, who was kind of the ruler of the cosmos and the beyond. But they're overthrown by Kronos, who is the Titan of time, or Cronus, I believe. So Cronus becomes a king, and he marries his sissy Rhea.
He marries a sissy.
Marries a sissy, and in doing so, they just get at it. They have a bunch of sex. They keep making babies. But here's the thing: Cronus doesn't like having babies, because he killed his dad, so he's afraid if he makes a little baby, that baby's gonna come kill him. Spoiler alert, he's right. He's not wrong. So every time they make a little baby, he eats it. Like he's like, give me
the baby?
Yeah, the Rhea will get pregnant, as what happens pre-baby, and he will consume the child. But Rhea's like not super into it.
She doesn't partake.
Rhea doesn't like the babies getting eaten.
Okay, yeah, she doesn't. She doesn't eat with them.
She does not.
What does she eat?
It's not a food. I don't know. Not babies.
Okay. Well, seems a little weird.
Yeah.
They don't eat dinner together.
Yeah, I guess that marriage is gonna stick.
Yeah. Might as well get separate beds.
So Cronus eats all the babies, and then scared of the same fate. But one of these days, Ray is like, I want to keep one of these babies. So, guess who that baby was?
I don't know.
Zeus. It's Zeus.
Yeah.
So she pops out Zeus, and then to trick Cronus, she feeds him a rock.
How does he not tell the difference?
It's a Greek fable, man. I don't know.
No, this is real.
Yeah, this actually happened. So she feeds him a rock, and then
Does she put any like blood on the rock or anything? Like,
No,
does she dress the rock up like a baby, or does she just like throw it in his mouth and say, "That's the baby"?
Here's the baby. Eat it up. Gobble gobble. Ooh, wish I could have some.
Oh, this is a lot crunchier than the
He's
other
like,
baby.
wow, this is a heavy baby. What were you eating, girl? So he eats the baby, or so he thinks. But Zeus ends up surviving as a servant of Cronus. So he makes his way up the ranks as a servant. So he poisons old Cronus, and then in doing so, Cronus had a little bit of backup in his intestine and puked out all of Zeus's siblings.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so he pukes out Hestia, Demeter, Hera, so his three sisters, and then he pukes out Hades and Poseidon.
I feel like I know all this stuff, but I'm just getting reminded of it, and I'm glad about it.
And then the world is split amongst the brothers, Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon. So Zeus gets the skies, Hades gets the underworld because he likes it down there, and Poseidon gets the sea. So that gives us the gods. So they're mainly known as the Olympians, and those are who sit primarily on Mount Olympus, as the name would dictate.
Yes. Thank you.
Two notable exceptions who are technically Olympians, but they didn't really live on Mount Olympus, so there's some dispute amongst that, is that Poseidon would go live in the sea, so he didn't spend a lot of time on Mount Olympus, and then
Clearly.
Hades would spend time in the underworld because he's a bit of a hermit.
Yeah.
He doesn't like the company of other people. So what I'll do right now is I'll run down the 12 Greek gods and a little bit about what you would pray to them for, their name meaning, and if I got a fun fact. If you
If you have a fun fact.
not all of them are that fun.
All right.
All right, so Starting in alphabetical order, we got Aphrodite.
That's my girl.
Yeah, Aphrodite's a girl. Aphrodite, the name means risen from foam. What are you laughing at?
What kind of foam?
I think the foam of the
sea
ocean.
foam?
Yeah.
That's not a great thing to rise from. It's all gross and yellow.
Yeah, it's kind of gross. So Aphrodite was known as the gross goddess.
Is it?
No.
No.
So she was known as the goddess of fertility and love and beauty. Quite the opposite. So during the Trojan War, Aphrodite fought on the side of Paris. Aphrodite and her son Eros, also known as Cupid, because he likes shooting those arrows.
Swing.
Eros teamed up to cause Zeus to fall in love with a human named Europa. Aphrodite was unfaithful to him and had it. What?
I don't know, man. You wrote it.
I did write this. Anyway, there's not a lot of fun stuff about this, but you pray to her for fertility and love and beauty.
Yeah, those are three of my favorite things.
And had two children, Cupid and Harmony. So if you think about it, beauty plus war created love and harmony.
That doesn't seem to add up.
Very fun. Very nice. The Greeks think about things in very fun ways.
Seems like they took a lot more from their mom than their dad.
Well, we'll get to Ares in a second. Yeah, I think you might think a little bit more. So then we've got Apollo. So Apollo's name comes from some Greek roots meaning assembly and purify, but also destroy.
Okay.
Ooh. So Apollo...
Build you up to bring you back down.
Hell yeah, that's Apollo, baby. So Apollo was a son of Leto and Zeus. He was born on the island of Delos. He and his twin sister Artemis, also an Olympian, shared an aptitude for archery.
Okay.
Yeah, so he is the god of music, poetry, and art. So he's what makes you get a liberal arts degree. So fuck you, Apollo.
Fuck you, Apollo.
But he's commonly associated with like the muses and all that kind of stuff.
Bachelors of Apollo.
Yeah. What's that?
Bachelors of Apollo?
I don't know that.
What?
What is it? What are we talking
I
about?
was making a joke about like Bachelors of Arts. Got it.
Yeah, we're gonna need clean take. All right. So
Would have been funnier if you got the joke.
yeah, I know. I got my BA.
No.
Okay. Then we got Ares, and so Ares is god of war, like you mentioned. What do you think his name means?
I don't know, something to do with air. I don't know, dude.
Curse.
Aries means curse?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that spooky?
What language?
Greek. I don't know. So he's the son of Zeus and Hera. So those are siblings.
Zeus is banging everybody.
That's kind of Zeus's thing. We'll
Yeah.
get into Zeus in a little bit. He's the son of Zeus and Hera, both of whom hated him, according to Homer.
Yeah.
Which how can we trust that person? You know.
Both of his parents hated him, is what you're saying.
Oh.
Is that what you were saying?
Hmm.
Dude, we're a mess. Are you saying both of his parents hated him?
Ares is the god of war, so you would pray to him if you wanted war.
You'd pray to him if you wanted a war, or like while you're at war.
While you're at war, he was the god of war. Fun thing about him though is he was known as a coward.
Oh.
Yeah, and his family hates him for it. So Zeus and Hera tend to look at their son with little more than disdain. And his sister Athena oversees war a little bit more than he does, as far as who they would really pray to. So he's like the god. He's like the wrath and like the ignorant side of war.
Yeah.
Not like the beauty of war. Or
He's
anything
like just
that.
the getting mad part. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so mad.
Ooh, I want to get you. But Athena is more like defense and strength and righteous battle, and Ares bows to her.
He bows to her?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. Power of women in Greek mythology. So then we have Artemis. Artemis means safe,
Safe.
I guess. Artemis was the daughter of Zeus and Leto and the twin sister of Apollo. She was primarily a virgin huntress, goddess of wildlife and the patroness of all the hunters. She was an important goddess in the lives of women, especially when it came to marriage and young creatures.
Young creatures.
Young creatures.
Just creatures of all shapes and sizes.
I would hope so.
So goats.
If you get... Yes, Artemis was the patron saint of goats.
Goats and humans and what other creatures are there?
Huh? That's it. Goats and humans. So then we've got Athena. Athena is named after the divine mind. So Athena is the goddess of war. So as we mentioned earlier, she's the nicer side of war, or maybe just the more dignified side of war. That's probably a better way to put it. So the female counterpart to Ares, she is one of the 3 virgin goddesses. So as we just talked about, Artemis was one of them, and Hestia is the other. And Athena is also the guardian of Athens, of whom she named. And the Parthenon served as her specific temple.
Hey, look at that.
The Temple of Athena. How about that? How about that? All right, you ready? You ready for the next one?
Yep.
Demeter, also known as the Earth Mother. Demeter was the daughter of Kronos and Rhea. So, much like Zeus, she got puked up from the belly. She's
one of the survivors.
Yeah, she's one of the survivors. Demeter Strong. She was the goddess of harvest and fertility. So there's a fertility festival in her honor that only women would attend in ancient Greece.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, she's a nice woman goddess.
I bet that was a fun festival.
I bet it was. We wouldn't know.
We wouldn't know.
We wouldn't go. All right, then we've got Dionysus, which we've all heard of before.
We all heard of that.
His name is a combination of Zeus and Naias. So Naias is the earthling of whom Zeus mated with to make Dionysus.
How many people did Zeus have sex with?
I'm pretty sure everyone.
He's like Ric Flair, 10,000.
I think so. Zeus is going to publish a book pretty soon to tell you how he did it all. But he's known as the god of the vine. So you always see him pictured with a bunch of grapes and wine and whatnot.
He's just the god of...
Yeah, and he loved himself some earthlings. So upon reaching adulthood, Dionysus wandered the earth, teaching men the culture of the vine. Dionysus was the last god to enter Olympus, and like I mentioned before, he's half human, so he's one of the main ones attached to like earthly desires and things like that. So that's our boy Dionysus, and he is sponsoring this podcast today.
He does every week.
He is the Greek god of Four Loko.
Greek god of Four Loko. Four Loko's pretty much wine.
Might as well be higher alcohol content. Then we've got Hades. Ooh, Hades.
All right, tell me some
I
stuff.
thought you were gonna jump in on that a little bit.
No, I don't want to do that.
All right, so Hades, his name means the unseen one. So he is also called the god of wealth or the rich one because he possessed the precious metals of the earth. Hades had a cap or a helmet that...
Because they're all underground?
I guess so. I didn't ask. Dear Hades.
Was it because they were all underground?
Amen. We'll see if he gets back to us. So Hades had a cap or helmet that made its wearer invisible. His wife was Persephone, Demeter's only daughter, whom he kidnapped and made his queen.
I have an aunt named Persephone. Why are you laughing?
I don't know why I'm laughing. This is such a goofy homework presentation.
Keep going.
All right, so that's Hades. And yeah, so he was a bit of a hermit. Like I mentioned before, he didn't really like the other gods that much, and he really just preferred the underworld.
So it's not like Hercules where he didn't like it and Zeus made him go. He actually just he's an introvert. He preferred it.
I'm pretty sure that's it. I think he was like,
I
hey,
got
actually,
guys,
here.
I'm not a bad guy. I just like to be alone.
He's like, this makes sense to me down here.
Yeah.
He wasn't a well-liked god just because everybody associated with him with death, and there really wasn't.
Well, somebody's got to do the job.
Yeah, there wasn't a heavenly perception of the afterlife, so to die was to die. So to see Hades was your last days. So people didn't love the idea of Hades, but he himself is a bit of a misunderstood villain. He's not really a villain. He's still a god.
Here's the thing. Somebody's got to scoop the poop, you know? Somebody's got to do the tough job.
You know what? Mike Rowe.
Yeah.
He's going to the underworld next season.
Mike Rowe would have probably done well with it.
Yeah. He would. Everybody out there in your liberal arts degrees, I'm down here reaping souls.
Continue, please.
Oh, thank you very much. I didn't know if we were going into a bit or not.
We've done too many bits
We've
that
done
are
too many bits.
already got cut. You guys will never fucking hear them.
All right, so now we have Hephaestus.
Hephaestus. he turned around and he faced us.
Yeah, named because he got an ugly face. But that's true. Hephaestus was the only ugly god among the perfectly beautiful immortals. He was the workman of the immortals. He made their dwellings, their furnishings, and their weapons, and he's known as the god of fire.
Oh, he's fiery.
Because
Because he's ugly and he's mad about it?
Yeah.
Everybody else was made so perfect and I'm not.
I made you a sword. I'm so mad at
Here's
you.
your stupid frickin' sword.
Then we've got Hera, which means either season or it means heifer.
Or which one?
It just depends on what you're talking about. Apparently heifer because she had these big cow eyes.
Cow eyes?
They said she had these big old cow eyes, so they called her a heifer. I don't know how nice that was. But she was the queen of the Olympian gods. And in the story of the quest of the Golden Fleece, Hera was a gracious protector of the heroes. Hera had few, if any, redeeming qualities, and she never forgot an injury.
That happened to her or somebody else?
I guess her? She was nasty.
Who does? Do people forget their injuries?
Oh, man, who hurt me?
If I break my arm, I'm not going to forget it a year later.
I'm going to keep running through these. We've got Hermes.
Hermes.
Hermes means
What?
messenger.
Yeah, keep going. You're telling me this.
I just
You keep trying to quiz me. I'm not going to answer.
I was going to do some interaction, but Hermes was considered a trickster due to his cunning and clever personality. He primarily served as the herald or messenger of the gods. Hermes was born in a cave on a mountain in Arcadia, and he was conceived and born within the course of a day.
He's got wings on his shoes.
Yeah, he said, I want to tell you all the good news. Swing! Woo! Woo! Zoo! Zoo! Then we've got Hestia. Hestia is the goddess of hearth, home, family, and state. Although Hestia appeared in just a few stories, she was not overly significant in Greek mythology. She was a sibling to Demeter, Hades, Poseidon, Hera, and Zeus, so she's one of the ones that got puked up. And Hestia is completely omitted from the works of Homer, and so basically she's not in the Iliad or the Odyssey.
Do you know why?
No,
Okay.
she didn't like him.
She chose to be omitted from them.
She didn't like Homer.
He was writing them and she came down and was like, yo, can you leave me out of that?
Listen, man.
I don't think this is going to catch on. Nobody's going to read this like 1,000 years from
This
now.
is some hack bullshit.
Yeah.
So now we've got Poseidon.
Poseidon. He was always my favorite to study.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you know about Poseidon?
I don't know a lot. I remember I liked him when I was younger and learning about this stuff.
Oh.
I'm a big water boy.
Ah, you like that water.
I like water. I like swimming.
You always pray to Poseidon.
Yeah.
So Poseidon was allotted his dominion after the fall of the Titans, the dominion of the ocean. He wielded the trident, or three-pronged spear, which is also a trident. I don't know why this article is telling me the same thing twice. And this image of him is reflected in him. Golly. And this image of him is reflected in most art. Poseidon was most notably the god of the sea and the protector of all the waters. Also was the god of earthquakes and horses, I learned.
Earthquakes and horses? Specifically those two things.
Specifically earthquakes and horses.
Oh, man, that's a pretty cool life.
Yeah. I'm
He's
the god
like,
of
hey,
the
I hang
sea.
out in the ocean, and I make all the horses run, and I make the ground shake.
And then we've got our final one, our big boy. Zeus.
Zeus.
So then we've got our next boy, Zeus. Zeus was, as we mentioned before, he's the All-Father. He's the one that you look to when you think of the Greek gods. He's the god of thunder. He's the god of weather in general. He's the father of the frame.
The famous.
The famous.
The famous.
He is the god of the very famous Hercules.
Everybody love Hercules.
Yeah, no, so he was the god of Hercules. The god of Hercules. God.
Yo, you wasted, dude.
I'm not, though. That's the only...
I'm pretty drunk.
Oh, boy. He's the father of Hercules. The name Zeus means bright or sky, and his weapon of choice was the thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt.
And it was made for him by the Cyclopses.
The Cyclopses made him thunderbolts?
Yeah, they liked him.
Huh.
Yeah, because once Zeus overtook the Titans, he was a little benevolent. He tried to reshape things quite a bit.
Yeah, he was like, hey, I'm going to be a cool leader, guys.
Yeah, and the Cyclopses were like, you know what? Cool leader needs a thunderbolt.
The cool leader needs a weapon. Thunderbolt's perfect.
Here you go.
Because he's going to be slaying ass all over this world.
Which obviously you need a thunderbolt for.
Well, yeah, you're gonna look stupid if you're doing without it.
So those are the 12 Greek gods. I apologize for those listening out.
That was some great homework.
Thank you. We got a couple other stray observations here.
Yeah, hit me with it.
So I was interested a lot in why there were Greek gods in general. And a lot of people can only make the hypothesis that it was very much the same reason why we have gods today or in any form of religion was just to help explain the universe around them. So it was easy when there's things like earthquakes or things that were cataclysmic events to just justify them by saying it was a god that did it, or why is there thunder? Well, that's Zeus. Zeus is just making some thunder up there, baby. So they use that for a lot of things, and it was also just nice to have these deities that they could pray to and feel better about for certain things.
So you're saying that God's just a way to explain things and something to pray to make yourself feel better?
Whoa, we just broke religion, baby. But yeah, it is. Yes.
Continue with your observations, please.
So I was interested in why our kind of monotheistic Christian God is one of the prevailing ones, at least in America, or why we don't still have people who are very religious around the Greek gods. And
Can I give you my theory?
I want to hear your theory.
That's just too much stuff to know. Scale it back to one, and you only got to know one guy.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Case closed. Closing my iPad.
You got to know the person to pray to for everything. There's 12 different people you got to pray to. They all do different stuff.
Yeah.
Scale it back to one. Pray the same guy every day.
You know what? Honestly, you're not 100% wrong.
All right.
So I went to Quora.com, which is a place you can go to ask questions and people answer them. I didn't ask the question. This was answered about 3 years ago. But it was by Ben Hoff, who works at Mercer County Community College. And I'll summarize his response. So basically, pagan beliefs, which meant just the older, archaic beliefs of multiple gods, started to become ostracized once we introduced kind of Christianity and monotheism, mainly because those multiple deity-based religions were very receptive to new gods and new saints. Because in their mind, the more people to pray to, the better, because the more people are looking out for you. I also learned that the Greeks also had a tomb for the unknown god, who they would go pray to just in case they weren't covering all their bases. Seriously.
That's a funny way to go about it.
So once Christianity began to spread, it came to the Greeks, and they were like, okay, yeah, you got some saints, you got a god, that's perfect. Sounds good.
Hey, we'll hop on that too.
Might as well. Where's the shrine? Point me in the right direction. I'll start praying. So they were into that, but then as Christianity began to take over and the more radical beliefs of it happened, they started to phase out the old gods and say they were sacrilegious and against the main god. So they kind of had to stop believing in their gods as religiously as they had before, and they were relegated to just stories. And kind of ways to just explain certain things, but they became much more pop culture and much less the actual exercise of believing in them as a true god.
Yeah, now they're just movie characters.
Yeah.
Huh. What do you know?
Who got the one with all the power? Hercules! I don't know if that's the right words or not. But that's pretty much it. So now they're just stories that we tell our kids at night.
Yeah, I was a little bummed out that you didn't touch on the recent battle between Ares and Diana Prince. That was a big deal.
I don't know about that. Oh!
Man,
Yes.
you ain't catching none of my references
So the
tonight.
Greek gods did not resurface until Wonder Woman came out in 2017.
Yeah, she came. She showed her face finally again.
Yeah, where she...
Wonder Woman?
Oh. I thought you were talking about Ares.
No.
I want her to fight Aphrodite in the next one.
No, she's gonna fight.
Go like, you think you're so pretty? Poof.
No, she's gonna fight Kristen Wiig as the Target Woman.
Oh. So that's my homework.
Yo, that homework was dope.
There was a lot to go over. I'll admit, I was a little sloppy. Wasn't the best.
It wasn't too bad.
Wasn't too bad.
We had fun with it.
We had some fun with it. We're going to have to listen to this all back to see what needs to get cut or not. So
Yeah, anything could be bad.
We'll have some
Let's get into some grades,
Let's get into some.
motherfucker.
Dalton is all right. We're back on the scene with the Dalton's Four Loco report. Dalton, how you doing with the Four Loco?
All right, we're down to the last, I would say, quarter of the Four Loco, and I gotta say it's going down smooth now, baby.
So we are gonna need your ranking out of 10. How do you rate this Four Loco?
Oh, it's still 1 out of 10, but it is doing the job.
Heyo, and that concludes our Four Loco report. Thank you so much for listening to Homework with Friends, brought to you by Four Loco, home of the bad decision.
Now we're gonna do grades now.
Yeah, we're gonna do grades now. So we score grades by accuracy, quality, effort, and whoa. All right, and we're back with grades. As the head of the class, I will give my grades first. So here we'll dive into it.
Hit me with it.
Dalton, you did good this week.
Hey, thanks, bud.
I liked what you made, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the one of the highest marks you got. It's 25 out of 25 in accuracy. You made a radio drama.
I did, yeah, thanks.
It was great. I'm going to give you a 20 in effort, primarily based on the fact that it was well documented within your radio drama that you could have put more effort into it. I'm going to give you in quality, I'll give you a 20.
Okay.
It was pretty solid, but like I mentioned before, there's some of those technical things. Maybe I would have liked a little bit more ambient noise in the background to kind of fill it out a little bit better.
Yeah.
Not to get too nitpicky about it, but to me it wasn't 25 work, but it was really good. And then I'm going to give you 25 out of 25 on Whoa.
Whoa!
I was wowed by it. I was tickled.
Hey.
It was fun to listen to. I really liked it.
Thanks, man.
So all in all, that gets you a 90, a solid A minus.
At 90?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I might have done some bad math here.
For Loco math.
I definitely did. All right. So, let me just take a pause here. Okay.
All right.
Here we go. And now, Logan, your grades. With the highest.
Sorry, your face as you were saying that. And then like, yeah, great. I know me saying that again didn't give the listeners your face, but I think you can imagine it.
All right, with the highest score of the four. Accuracy, 25 out of 25.
Perfect.
I have
Thank you.
no facts to call you on any of that.
Good.
What is a boy to do?
good to know.
Do we ever? Should we even have accuracy as a category? I don't know.
We might delete accuracy at some point.
Effort. Seems like you didn't try that hard. I gave you 18 out of 25.
It's okay with me.
It's
fair.
Quality. Could have used a little bit more fun. I wanted a little bit more fun facts. I think.
I wasn't pleased with what I did either.
20 out of 25.
Oh, more than I would have given me.
Whoa. I went 18 out of 25.
Yeah.
It wasn't super whoa. So it came out to be 81 out of 100.
I think what I did was a solid B minus.
It
if
was
not
I
C
think,
plus.
I think it was a solid B minus. I'm a easy grader,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't go C plus.
This is one of those assignments where you pull a kid aside from class. If I was doing well before this, and
yeah,
go like,
and you're like,
hey man,
what'd you have going on?
like
Were you busy?
thanks, but come on, man, you can do better than that.
You can do.
But if this is one of those assignments where if I never do anything and I turn that in, the teacher would be like,
hey,
you know what?
stepping up your game.
Thanks for
aren't you?
showing up. So those were the homework assignments.
Those were the homework assignments. Logan's the mofo dunce.
And then Dalton is the head of the class.
Bang, 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 motherfucker.
And that only leaves one last portion.
Homework for next week.
Homework for next week.
So we're doing something a bit different.
Yeah, we picked a theme.
We kind of did it with the home ec week by
kinda.
accident, but this is an actual chosen theme
Yeah.
for the week. We're doing physical education.
Physical education. So phys ed, PE class, some people's favorite course.
A lot of people's least favorite course.
It just depends on what side of the spectrum you fall on.
All right.
Wait, I don't know what I meant by that.
Yeah, neither did I.
Okay, edit point. Some people's favorite course.
Some people's least favorite course.
It's all about personal taste.
You want to assign first? You want me to go first?
I think I can assign first.
Okay.
Okay, so because I'm assuming I'm going to be doing a physical challenge for you at some point, or some type of physical challenge.
Yeah.
Okay, safe assumption. So I want to go the different route because you're already a physically inclined man. I'm not going to go make you do something physical. I'd be almost out of touch doing that. One thing I never really knew much about was kind of what goes into being a PE teacher.
Okay.
As far as what do you do for those elementary school kids? Because I feel like we were just running around like crazy all the time.
That was my major, semester 1.
Oh, yeah. So what I would like you to do is I'd like you to interview a PE teacher.
Oh, damn.
So find a current PE teacher. Any grade works. I want to know a little bit about what goes behind their curriculum building.
Okay.
So what does it look like in 2018 to build a physical education class for America's youth?
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to get a report on kind of like the trends in PE and a little bit of the history of it if I can.
Okay.
So I know that's a lot in general.
Now, can the history come from me? Because I feel like they're not going to know spot on history from the interviewer, from the person from the interviewee.
The interviewer, I think, would be more, or the interviewee would be more like first stuff today, and then just like you can educate yourself on the history and then teach us back.
Got it.
Like when was it first introduced, stuff like that.
Okay. You ready for mine?
Yes.
You might want to type or write this down. This is something. So this is taking into account that we will record 5 to 7 days from now.
Sure.
So if it's 5, might be a little hard. If it's 7, doable. Here we go. Ready? So your goal is to get 100 points total. Okay.
Okay.
You get 1 point per mile run, 1 point per 10 push-ups, 1 point per 20 sit-ups, or a variation of like an ab workout, 1 point per 30 squats, or 3 points per 10 burpees. And what I want you to do is you have to hit 100 points by the next time we record. If it's sooner than we intend to, we can adjust it a little bit. We'll talk about that off mic.
I say we just keep it 100.
But I want you to keep a log of what you do to get those points, and then also a journal about how you're feeling that day and the next day and stuff like that. How you're feeling after those times.
Okay.
And for those of you who listen who don't know Logan, he stays in all right shape.
All right.
Above average.
Yeah.
Above average. You're a runner, but
Yeah.
you don't do much like weight trainer.
No.
Like work, like any type of body
just
weight
enough
stuff.
to maintain.
Yeah. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge for him. He's going to be a little sore.
Woo.
It's a nice little physical education jumpstart into getting that summer bod.
I want to get my summer bod, so this really helps me out. I like this.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess that's it for the week. You guys, this was a good episode.
As always, thank you for listening. If you want to connect with us, you can email us at homeworkwithfriends@gmail.com. Our episodes are available also on YouTube. Sometimes we post some special clips from that, such as last week's Dalton's fashion special. In addition to that, you can always comment and rate us on iTunes with any potential homework assignments you'd like to see or any feedback that you have. And we appreciate you listening.
Thanks, dudes.
Do your homework.